All right. Now, the database topic, it was in chapter 9, and it's the part of your paper 2. Once we are going for the databases, this is the definition for the database. Is it a database is an organized collection of data, and obviously in database you can organize data in a table format. Minded that the tables are they can be hundreds of table in a database, but for your syllabus, it's only one which we have to go for it. It will somewhat like this that if you are going for a student information table, you can have the student ID, name, age, and the house, and the data types which we have already discussed. You can you know have some idea of it that how can we go for the database means what the data is and what the type of the data. So we're straightforward going for few things. Number one, the structure of the database is okay, but initial understanding of what the databases are used for. So I'm not going to ask you people right now because it's a very limited time. So yes, obviously the users of the databases are student and the examination record at a school. So you have a certain GR number, name, probably the class, age, house. This is the data for the student. But if you're probably going for the examination data, obviously a student ID is associated with some particular exam. Let's suppose that I'm going to take a certain exam for computer science, but you're also studying maths and physics and some of the subjects. So this is important for us that uh, whatever the topic which we are going for, which means that a particular examination marks for a subject is assigned to a particular ID. We'll obviously going for it later on that what is happening. Yeah, obviously the patient record and at hospital. So you have a very simple idea we are going for that the name and the ID with the disease. Usually we have medical record number on patients. The third one is customer record at banks. You will have like account number, the name of the account holder, whatever your balance is. It can be, in plus or minus as well if you are taking some loans from the bank. Other users probably booking and the reservations, record at the rail and the airports, and for record at office and so on. So there can be many, many, many. Now, what the chapter is going to, cover over here, we will have important terms related to database, and these terms and the type of databases are the part of your upcoming bi-monthly examinations. So please be patient and try to capture all these things. You need to means you need to write things. Take the screenshot of it. All right. So the terms, important terms related to the database. The first very important term is table. Table is what? In database, data is entered in a tabular format organized as rows and the columns. So if somebody is asking you what the table is, so what you're going to write? Table is a collection of raw rows and columns. You can also write instead of writing rows and the columns, you can write records and fields. So this is the simplest form of definition we have for the table. And as you can see that we have student ID, student ID, first name, last name, age, and the house. The student ID should be, this is student ID, should be a unique identifier we have. We must have this student ID as a unique identifier. What the unique identifier is. The question arises usually, what this unique identifier is. So the unique identifier means that we have it should not be duplicated. This should be means we probably have few people with the same name. So the unique identifier is going to tell us that this particular person, who this particular person is. Next is what the field is. The field is a column in a database, then a table. It is also a title given to a piece of data. So again, this is very simple, but still, it's very important for us as well that what the field is. A column related to a particular instance, related to a particular thing. This is known as column. The next one is a record. A record is what is a row in a database table, a collection of fields in the table for a specific person. So basically, what is happening? Uh, and in this case, we have level 02 Jane Watson, age 10, with the yellow house and whatever the school is. So this particular data can be vary according to the whatever the database you have, but still, this particular data is important for us to understand that what probable if we wanted to find out that the Jane Watson or Jane only is belongs to which house. Obviously, we are skipping all the other things and coming for this particular area which is red, which means that if we wanted to find out the house or any other thing, we can go for it. We can also find out that a particular person or multiple people with probable the name of same name, Jane, what the age will be. So this is a very limited data, just for an example, but you can find out that whoever name is Jane, bring me the date, what age of the date of birth or the age of the person. So table is a collection of row and column. Second, field is basically a column in a table. And third, a record is the row in an entire table. Now, this is what we were like sort of blindly, we were talking about this query. Query is what? Query is to is used to fetch data from the tables or table. What does it mean? Query is going to allow the user to find full record or record with a specific field in the database using certain criteria. What the certain criteria is, this is what we have already talked about. That I wanted to, know that how many students we have in Yellow House, or the name of the students in Yellow House, the age, which is whoever is studying in our school with the age of greater than 13. So this is the query, and we are going to use SQL statements for it. So, the query is obviously very important for us as well. No, we have query. Then how can we, go for a certain query? What the query can do? Can you show me only the records of the student who are 11 years old? So what the query will be for this one? It can be somewhat like this. You need to write the SQL statement, select asterisk. Asterisk means everything. From everything means that whatever the complete row, not the selected area, but the complete row. For who? From student underscore data. What is student underscore data? This is the name of our table. So this need to be, written. Where age equals to 11. This is double equals to, you can directly write the single equals to, so you can have the data. So whoever is equals to 11 is coming over here. Where in a new area, which is related to uh, which is outside the sorry, which is outside the this particular table. So it will, collect this data, and going to come up with another table-like structure, which is a query structure, and it will show it as this fetched data. So this is our final, final work, which is applying how to, you know, uh, get the query. All right, this is what we have already covered in our previous class. That integer, well, this seems like integer, very good, just because of the data is written without decimal places, and then these are the numbers. Um, then we have text and an alphanumeric data, which is a particular person name might have special characters on it. So, can anyone tell me on chat, do you remember any person name or any title for a person with a specific with a specific okay. Ashok, I think, is asking for that. I didn't understand the query is because basically we have just introduced what the query is. Query is basically asking your question from the database. The entire database probably have many records on it, and you wanted to find your specific data. That's the working of the query. How to write it? That's not a problem right now because we have to, do certain things for the query. It's not yet done. It's just the introduction what the query is, right? So my question is that do you remember any name that might have special characters on it? Anyone? And by the way, you have studied in I think history. Surname um, can be. They have written one name in chat box. What do you think? Similar like names, but you have a special characters. So one of the president we have here in Pakistan have a name with hyphens, right? So this is what we are talking about. That That's why it's an alphanumeric data. Then we have the numeric data. What this numeric data what this numeric data is again the numbers. But is there any difference between numeric data and the integer? No, because on this side we don't have anything. Then finally, if we're going to write Y and a R and a B and a G and a Y instead of writing the full name yellow, red, blue, green, and white. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. So we should understand that we can use uh, you know uh, character sets or character for databases. Okay, let me move a little forward now. This is what we have already discussed. Text, alphanumeric, character, boolean. Boolean is a true or false, yes or no in some databases, because just because of the we are going to use the Microsoft Access database. So the alphanumeric of the text, this is what we have talked about in the syllabus. In our syllabus, these are the names which we have to use. And obviously in Microsoft Access, the names are a little bit different because it's a software. It's not, it's a software for a company, not meant for, not meant for, uh, uh, yes, obviously for IGCSE or O-level syllabus. So we have another question what the char is. Char is a single character, means you can write Y for yes, you can write N for no. So instead of writing NOYES, yellow for yellow, we are using only Y. Probably for green, we're only using G. That's the one which is we have a very short character through which we can understand what the thing is all about. Okay. For examination, obviously, we need to write these characters, means this labels data types, text or alphanumeric, character, boolean, integer, real, and date and time. What the real is a decimal place number, where we have plotted this example of pi 3.14. If you wanted to write something with the decimal places, you need to grab real data type for it. In Microsoft Access, obviously, we have a decimal for it. All right. And that's perfect that somebody is asking at least questions. If you have any questions, you can write in the chat box. Type of databases. Okay, we do have multiple type of databases. Obviously, this is interface which act as an interface between the user and the database. What does it mean? It means that something through which you are placing your data, you are going to input your data. That's the interface. How can you enter data? Probably by typing, probably by speaking, probably by importing, right? You have already data and you're importing it. So the user interface is important here. That how we are going to place our data in a database. So we do have the Oracle database, we do have the Microsoft Access, and few names I have already talked about in our previous class. So the two type of databases we are going to talk about: the flat file database. Now this is important for us. This store only a single table of data, and this is although Microsoft Access is not the single file database, but we're going to make it as a single file database and going to work on it. The database is not related to any other table or the database, which means that it is not going to reference or going to call anything from outside. So if it is a single database over here, as you can see, it's a single database over here. but we're not calling anything out from outside. If we want to add few columns, like let's suppose I need to add a few new column over here, probably over here. So this is what I can do. Obviously, add the columns and then put some data for it. So that's not the case that if well, in a obviously relational database, if we wanted to add some data, we usually going to create another table for it. And that's not in our syllabus right now. The advantage is important. Data can be duplicated. The process of creating an exact copy of data. This is the disadvantage of the flat file database. The There is another disadvantage of data redundancy. Storing of the same data in multiple locations. That's another problem. And input errors. So type errors can be done with this type of a database, means flat file system database. But the relational database are very important for us. A database that has multiple tables is a relational database. When tables are linked, the user can work on complex data structure having multiple tables. So I might have different tables and can add different data on obvious different tables, can link up the tables to extract some part of the data from another table and going to put it in our own. The good thing is the relational database does not allow data duplication. So that's important for us, that we don't want it to write anyone's data again and again. And it is more efficient. Obviously, more efficient is why? Because once I'm going to put only unique data on it, so we will have directly going to find out the same person which we wanted to select, and the consistent. So the consistency is obviously very important in the relational databases, just because of the consistent data need to be used. What does it mean, consistent data? Again, the name of a person, probably. Again, the one which is with the correct spelling. So the consistency will be applied on the relational databases. As you can see that for the relational databases, we can use this type of a structure where we have a student data and the student result. Now, if you're going to talk about this entire structure in the relational databases, can have more than one table. Obviously, instead of placing all the fields into one table, fields are categorized into their type. Student information and student result are two different tables in one single database. So this is although this is this seems like it's out of our syllabus, because what we are going to use, we're going to eliminate this particular part from here, going to wipe out this area, and going to directly connect math column and the rest of the columns with this house column. So we will use single table database, right, in our this syllabus, O-level syllabus. So this will be somewhat like this. But what if we are using it like what we are planning for? Somewhat like this. Is this okay? Yes, it is. How we can link it up with the help of ID. Right? So 001 is the ID, 002 is the ID for, and whoever the name is. So we are going to basically calling with the help of ID to whatever the data we have placed for the maths, history, English, and science subjects. This is a true picture of relational database, and this is what we are basically talking about. Now, here is the concept of primary key. Primary key is what? Please note it down because this question examiner is very much interested to ask this question again and again from the students that what the primary key is, number one. Number two, can you find out the primary key in my table? Number three, why any of the data or any of the columns or fields are not basically using the primary key. So these are three questions are very common. So first of all, we need to understand what the primary key is. It's a unique field that allows the user to identify a record. Every record in the primary key field must be unique. So to cut it short, primary key is a unique identifier for a particular record, as well as it cannot be it cannot be null. What does it mean? It cannot be null. You cannot leave it blank. So once you're writing this particular definition, you should add cannot be null. Not null. It cannot be null, as well as you the data should be unique on it. So if it is probably we probably have to like let's suppose over here on this particular area after this 5, let me write 003 again. It will allow me going to send a message, particular message on the screen that this data is already written. So I cannot write 003 again. And if I wanted to insist that I would like to, okay, let's just leave it. Just leave this particular part and let me write first name and the last name and the age and the house, something like this. As we cannot leave it blank, data cannot be null. So we have to write the primary key data first and then go for the another one, right? Again, my another question is over here related to the same thing. That okay, we have not null value. All right. Examiner is doing what? Examiner is usually sending this particular probable, eliminating this particular field from here and going to ask us about it. That either we are able to find out that is there any primary key on it? Yes, it is. There is. Like right now, we can use the first name as a primary key because it is, every name is unique. But what if we have multiple data? Means probably max is another max is available. One single max is available means that we cannot make this particular field as a primary key. The primary key is again what? It's a unique identifier. So if we have a duplicate name with the max or the chain or anyone, so we cannot have a unique identifier and we cannot set it as a primary key. Similarly, we have a duplication in the ages as well. We have a duplication over here in the house as well. So we cannot go for it. So what the use of, how can we create it then? So usually examiner is asking for that. You don't have any primary key. Let's suppose that this is what that we have already cut. So what to do? What is your suggestion for the primary key? So we are going to look at whatever the database or the table is all about. If it is a student table, yes, I think the GR number can be a very good primary key. for it because it's a unique identifier for entire uh, entire school, not for the class, right? So this is what our discussion should be. Any question till now? We have only 2 minutes left in this class. So if you have any question, please raise your hand or you can write it in the chat box. I'm moving toward the next area, which is creating a database. So yeah, we have a question. Oh, yes, in one line, or obviously Ashok, in one line, the primary key is a unique identifier through which you can find out a particular record. And record means obviously a line. This is a record. This is a record, a complete record. So through which you can find out obviously a particular record. If you were going to ask the system that I would like to go for the age 11, it will bring two different things. That won't be a unique identifier, right? So the primary key is going to, going to find out the unique data in our entire database. Any other question? All right, so we are not going for the next part, creating a database, just because of that the time is very quickly running out. I need to, close the session. I'll about to have the next session later on, probably tomorrow or whatever. So we're going to cover up the examination papers on it till now, whatever we have studied in next session, and going for the creation of database, and let's find out what the query is, right? I'm going to stop this session now. And okay, thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.